Do I spank my kids? Without any shame, I will tell you, yes, I do if they are ill-disciplined. So firstly, I want to give you some very specific Bible verses from the book of Proverbs. It talks a lot about spanking, says it very clear. My mom used to read this to us all the time, and I do that to my sons also. First, Proverbs chapter 3 verses 11-12, it says, "My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline and do not resent his rebuke, because the Lord disciplines those he loves. As a father, the son he delights in." So I'll tell them, since your father and I, we love you and we delight in you, that's why you need to be spanked and you need to be disciplined. Proverbs 23 verses 13 and 14, "Do not withhold discipline from a child. If you punish them with a rod, they will not die. Punish them with the rod and save them from death." Sometimes I'll tell my older son, who is more of age to understand these things more. So I'll tell him, why did you get the spanking? Why did you get the stick? And he will say, yeah, because I made a mistake. And I said, yes, because I want to discipline you now. I want to give you this stick now so that later when you grow up, police will not be giving you that rod. So instead of you getting the beatings later when you grow up, it's better if you get it now, right? And he will say yes. So spanking them right now, disciplining them right now will save them from eternal death, because we think that children are very innocent, and then they just make small mistakes, silly mistakes, and then we don't discipline them now, and later they grow up doing worse things when they grow up, where they will really need discipline from the authority, or who knows, jail or things like that in addiction. So we don't want them to go to that path. We have to start now. Proverbs 29 verses 15, it says, "A rod and a reprimand impart wisdom, but a child left undisciplined disgraces its mother." So if we are not disciplining our kids now, it will disgrace us when they grow up and when we grow older. So instead of being feeling disgraceful and then feeling guilty, better we discipline and train them now than regret later. And those of you who say the children are very innocent, but the Bible says there is folly, foolishness in their heart. In Proverbs 22 verses 15, I like this verse. It says, "Folly is bound up in the heart of a child, but the rod of discipline will drive it far away." It makes me laugh also every time I read it. So it's very clear. Bible also says in Proverbs that we need to train up a child in such a way that they will not depart from that way when they grow up. So it starts when they are young. These children, when they are young, we think they are very innocent, and we take every little thing they do as their mistake, as childishness, and then we let it go. But according to the Bible, we have to be careful with them and then see what is a childishness and what is a disobedience, what is a behavior that can lead them to become more stubborn and lead them on a wrong way. So should you spank your kids? Yes, whenever it is needed. Like Bible says, using rods, but don't use a literal rod. It's just saying spanking, giving them a physical punishment. So silly things that children do, a child being a child. And for every single small thing, you don't need to spank them. But if there are things which really needs correction, then make it clear, set clear boundaries in your home, that this is what the boundary is, this is what the limit is. If you cross that, if you don't listen to me, or if you don't come home on time, this is what you are going to get. And follow through, very important. Some parents will, they will just keep warning the child from the other room, and they will keep counting 1, 2, 3. So instead of that, make yourself very clear to your kids that if you are not listening, and this is the time given to you, maybe 5 minutes, you put off the TV. After that, there will be correction coming. And also I want to say here that keep the children's age in mind. What I have experienced is that children who are below 6 years or even younger, spanking helps a lot. Like my younger kids who are 3 and 5. The older one who is almost 9 doesn't help much. And the logic behind that is, the older kids, we can talk to them, we can make them things understand, and there are other creative corrections that you can use with the older kids. But the younger ones, it's no point of arguing or making a toddler understand what discipline is. So the best way to do is use this spanking or some punishment so that they will understand right away. If your child keeps going, touching things which you don't want them to touch, just show them with a stick, or sometimes I use my spatula just to hit in their this upper portion of their hand, a slight tap, and then the child will know, my youngest son will know that, oh, he's not supposed to touch that, and if he does again, he will get again. So in that way, I'm teaching him that he's not supposed to touch that breakable thing, which is valuable for the parent. One very important thing is, spanking does not mean abusing your children. So if you are choosing to spank your kids, make sure that you are in clear mind and you are not hitting your children in your anger. You are not reacting over what they did, but with a sensible mind and with clear mind, you are telling them that this is the boundary and you crossed it, so you have to get a punishment. And all three of my kids, after I spank them and later I'll talk to them, pray with them, finish the spanking always with a prayer and talking with them and telling them why it is done, why the correction and discipline is needed now. And all my three kids, they never say, why did you do that, why did you beat me? But they will come and I'll hug them, and then I'll ask them, do you realize why did you get this punishment, or why did I spank you? And they will say, yes, because it was my mistake. And we hug, and then they will forget again, and sometimes they do the same mistakes again. But the lesson is learned that if there are things that they do not follow, or if they are disobedient, there will be always some consequences and punishments coming. I always tell this to my sons, that if you do something wrong, there will always be consequences. If you do something right, there will always be consequences. Also, I want to say that not every child needs spanking. There are so many kids in so many homes who have never been spanked, and they're all good, well grown up, disciplined children, a very good grown up teenagers now. But there are some kids like mine who need spanking. So should you always spank your kids? No, not necessary. And should you be graceful to all your kids and do gentle parenting all the time? Not necessarily. So use your discretion, read the word, and then take insight from the Bible. What does it talk about disciplining and training our kids? Because we are here not only to love them and pamper them and then create some bunch of spoiled brat kids who will be a burden in society later in their future, but we are given a huge, huge responsibility to create and help grow children who are full of integrity and who will follow the true path and who will perform his or her duty in their community, who will be responsible citizens in the future. There are these two of my favorite books that I want to recommend to the parents, the mothers particularly. If you are struggling with disciplining your kids and then training your kids, then these two books have really helped me. One is The New Strong-Willed Child by Dr. James Dobson. This is an old edition, but I'll put the link in the description below where you can get it from Amazon. There must be new editions of this book. It's a really good book. I got this book when I was pregnant with my first child, and somehow in my spirit I knew that I'm going to have a male child, a baby boy. And even before he was born, I got this strong-willed child, and it really, really helped me in the long run. And the other book is my latest read. This is Creative Correction by Lisa Whelkel, and this also I will put the link in the description below. This is really interesting book. It has many ideas to how to use creative corrections to help your kids grow as a disciplined child, and she has really done a very good job with this book. You can get this book from Amazon. I hope that this will help you.